right, here we are. What's up, everyone? My name's AJ Writes Crypto. It's Friday. Got the senioritis Friday vibes going on yet again. March 21st. Hope everyone has some plans for the weekend. It's going to be a good one. We're peacing out. We're going to Birmingham, Alabama. Got the Supercross race tomorrow. It's a Triple Crown. We saw the Triple Crown in Glendale, Arizona, and now we're going to catch the Triple Crown in Birmingham. So, hell yeah, if you happen to be at the Supercross race in Alabama, hit up your boy. We'll be there. Super excited. Shout out to all the groggers in the chat. We got Ogre, Alan, Brandon, Stefan, Desert, Grateful Dad, Mr. Mojo, I Am a Grogger, Brandon Jolly, CK. Appreciate each and every one of you. We are doing members only today. I'm going to go ahead and say 1:45, 2 o'clock. It will... we are going to go over all. So on Wednesday, we went in the Telegram group on a bunch of setups, and they have developed. Things have happened, and we're going to go over all of those setups today and kind of give an update. And I'm going to share a couple other charts I've had my eyes on too, kind of waiting for a couple more things to play out. But hit the like so AJ doesn't pull a knife on us. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so that's fucking hilarious. Shout out to the homie Burton Stone in the chat. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, and I am going to do a little member giveaway at the end of the show, just to check out members only. It's a completely different live stream than the normal one here with J Chains and I. Speaking of J Chains and I, what's up with J Chains?
Boom. What's happening, man? You can't see me in my camo though.
Dude, that Karate Combat cam, bro.
It's my 1-on-1. Thanks to Loudmouth.
That thing's dope.
I love it.
I'm a fan. It's like we're beefing right now. I mean, I got the
Oh,
whoa, dude. We gotta calm this down, bro.
I'll see you in
really funny.
I'll see you in the pit, AJ.
See you in the pit, bro. That's funny. Damn. That's great. So
jokes aside though, Dirty Boxing, that event is this weekend, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't really follow. I mean, it's hard enough to follow Karate Combat and the UFC. You know what I mean? There's only so many names I can store in my brain. You know what I thought about that the other day? Like how like you think of an iPod. Remember back in the day when you only had so many gigabytes on your iPod? And you had to be very selective about how many full Eminem albums actually made the cut. Like Recovery always didn't,
Man, you
make it.
You don't even know the actual struggle about like cassette mixtapes and like burning CDs and stuff, do you? No, man.
I do.
Oh, do you?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I was a big LimeWire guy.
Okay.
Real heavy LimeWire. Just corrupted my dad's
destroying computers since
destroyed his computer. But yeah, that's hilarious. And burning CDs and all that, man. Oh, dude, I was after the music as a kid. That was like my main.
Nice.
I was dialed in, but that's funny. So today, just to follow up on the plan of action today we're gonna hit the news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show you a setup I'm looking at.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go through so yesterday we want to go through every single chart in the top 100. Yesterday we did 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're going to go 11 through 20. We'll do that towards probably the middle of the show, and at the end of the show I want to address the title of today's show, the bull run game plan, and stop making this investing mistake.
This mistake.
I think it's really important just to touch on this before we get moving. I feel like so many people, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I do feel like so many people, this is something this is a common denominator when I talk to other people that are like kind of looking for help. Well, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? Is that most people struggle actually making a plan or writing anything down about anything they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like most people don't know their average buy prices. Most people don't have like targets planned or like an exit strategy planned.
Right.
And, a little bit of money can go a long way when you take a 2-cycle approach. And I think that's something a lot. So, some people feel like, oh, it's easy to make 100,000 in crypto when you start with $1 million. Well, yeah, that's true. because it really just comes down to P&L because, or like, the percentage gains, because at that point, obviously you got to spend money to make money. And the more money you have, the easier it is to make a significant amount of money. But what about the people that only have 20 grand in their name? Right. Or 10 grand in their name or less? That's
doable too, though.
They do. Like, that's what I want to talk about, because taking a 2-cycle approach is what you have to do. Like, there are the exceptions to the rule, people that just put everything they have into one unknown altcoin outside the top 400, and they happen to be right. Maybe they had some inside source, or maybe something to that effect, and ultimately that very risky Wall Street bets type of thing plays out. That is the exception, not the rule. Okay, so
but everybody bases their experience off of that exception, which is terrible, right? It's the psychology of it.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
they should not do that. They should realize that the systematic, pragmatic way to ensure success is to take a 2-cycle approach. So ultimately, no matter what you have now, you got to have a plan, like a rock solid plan. So when I say have a plan, I don't mean, okay, I'm investing $5,000. When I hit $15,000, I'm out. That's not what I'm saying. All right. What I'm saying is that don't go about like your overall amount of money and then say, oh, I'm starting with this, I want to end with this. Don't do that. Figure out your average buy price for each coin. Figure out your target and exit strategy for each coin. Scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, based off of time and price. So say, let's use Ondo for an example. Say your average Ondo buy price is, 91 cents, 90 cents. And you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to sell 70% of my Ondo at $4. And I'm either going to sell the other 30% if it falls back to 3, or if it goes to, 6 or wherever. So you can kind of get a rough estimate of where your Ondo is going to end up in scenario 1, scenario 2, and scenario 3. And then you do that for each coin you have. For each coin you have, for scenario 1, for scenario 2, for scenario 3. And then your total, you'll already know the total amount of money you're going to make if scenario 1 happens, if scenario 2 happens, or scenario 3 happens. And that's all based off of time and price. So really, it's not about I want to start with 5,000 and leave with 17 or whatever. It's I want to start with 5,000. This is my average buy price. This is my targets. This is what I want to do. And if this scenario works, I'll have this much. If this scenario works, I'll have this much. And actually write this down, like systematically. Go through every coin you have. Figure out your average buy. Go through your scenarios. Go through your targets in each scenario. That is a more refined way on how to have a rough idea of how much money you're going to make in the bull run before the bull run even happens. That's the problem with most people. Most people don't have a plan. They don't have a goal. They throw money at crypto and they say, oh, hope it works out. I hope. And
that ultimately leads to the round trip, right? Because you didn't have that target in mind. You didn't have that goal in mind. And so when it should have been and I always said to people, like, here's the deal. If you screenshot your portfolio to send to your friend, your cousin, your mom, whatever it is, like if you hadn't set a plan, that was the indicator that should be your plan at that moment right now. Sell everything because something's triggered in your mind that like, whoa, look what I did. If you get to that point, sell. If you didn't make a plan, but the whole idea is make the plan now so you don't have like this potential aha moment.
Yeah. So, dude, my point here is that I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like. I wasn't too long ago. I was working at my dad's motorcycle shop with one AirPod in my ear, absorbing as much information about crypto as I humanly possibly could.
Right.
So it is possible to go from nothing to something. But even me, you look at 2021, I didn't do bad in 2021, but, I also kind of pissed it all against the wall. And I wish that at the time I took a 2-cycle approach, although it ultimately worked out for me. That's, because of the combination of content and trading. It wouldn't have been possible without one or the other for me to get to where I am now. And that's okay. But I'm saying if you're just going from trading only, you have to you have to be really smart about this. You cannot make mistakes. You can't just go into a bull run and shrug your shoulders like, oh, hope it works out. You're just going to ride it to the top, You're just going to ride it to the bottom. It's that simple. I don't want to see anyone in this community round trip. So everyone listening right now, got, over 100 people in here. Thanks for being here. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all of the things. If you're watching this right now and you don't know your average buy price for every coin you hold, you're making a mistake. If you're not doing what you can to, work overtime, take on extra random side gigs, whatever, to lower your average buy price at this point, or to add into the portfolio, you're making a mistake. This is the time to get things on the low for sure. Mm-hmm. Burton Stone, are you buying your big portfolio to lower your entry cost soon? Yes. The answer to that question is yes, I will be. And yeah, so guys,
it still looks like things potentially, like, not that maybe the bottom's in, maybe we're close to it, all that kind of stuff, but the signs still show that we potentially have a little bit more fall, right?
I mean, so
but even if it's just a small
way to look at it. So when I sold in December, I bought $100 of every coin that I have. All right, that I had at the time. It's just in a Coinbase. All right, at the time when I did it anyway. And those coins are now at 39, 42, 41.
So they're continuing, because last time we checked, they were like in the 60s. So they're continuing to go down.
Continuing to fall. But Jada said something the other day that kind of like made me turn my head sideways. I was like, damn, like that's a really good way to look at it. Is that okay? Well, you didn't take that 50% dent or more than 50% dent, really. All of the coins except for HBAR are below $50. From when I bought 100 the day I sold. Okay. And it's just like, imagine if like you were, going shopping or going to buy a car or something, and there was like the same thing you wanted, but now it's 50% off. Like, wouldn't you want to buy more at 50% off? And I was just like, that's such a, it's such a simple way to look at it, but she's right. She's totally right. Because at this point we know the targets. And I mean, I didn't sell at the tippy top, but I was close. I missed it by like 12%, 15%.
Right.
And if you can miss the top by only 12 to 15%, great job. All right. And it's all about the money made in the middle. So ultimately, right now, from the day I sold, everything is more than 50% off. So regardless of if we have the perfect optimal buy, guys, just like I didn't perfectly sell the top, you're also perfectly not going to buy the bottom. I feel that we're probably 12 to 15% away at the most from the bottom.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, obviously, according to Fibonacci and everything like that, we are in a lot of value buy areas. We're on, under or right at 618 golden pocket for most of our altcoins that we know and love. So guys, it's not about making the perfect optimal play. You're never going to perfectly buy the bottom. You're never going to perfectly buy the top, but we are in the value zone now. And if you look at our favorite altcoins and measure, not even from where we are now to all-time high of the coin, but where we are now from the December high.
Every one of them, dude, with the exception of XRP and HBAR, right?
Of course, but those are ones that I believe have been chosen and that they don't want us to get on the low, and that's for a reason. And maybe we should consider that when we're buying more. But we also got to consider that multiplication factor. That XRP, very large market cap, HBAR not as big as XRP's market cap, but in the top 20, there is a ceiling to how far they can go. I do honestly I'm going to stick to my guns. When you look at CoinGecko, all right, and kind of scroll on down through the list here, once you get to, I would say probably Uniswap, 35 under a 4 million cap. That from Uniswap down is where you really start to see the projects that have that factor. Because from Uniswap at 4 billion to Ondo at 2.7, I mean, that's already a really big jump up from market cap. So if you kind of go from Ondo down, or even ICP down 2.8, like, gets basically round up to 3. If it goes from 3 to 6, you double. If it goes from 6 to 12, you double. If it goes from 12 to 24, you doubled. And I mean, so something going, you see my point. And then even VeChain, man, 2.2, BitTensor 2.1, basically 2.2. Algorand 1.6, Render 1.7, Optimism 1.4. I mean, how are these not going to minimum 4 or 5x to minimum?
Well, you're going to see a lot of them do even more, right? You talk about like the coveted 10x, and I think you see some of these that are in that. I always said the sweet range is like in the $2 to $4 billion range, right? So let's just say the 2 to 3 to swing up into a $30 billion market cap during the parabolic phase of the bull run is not uncommon. Like that's totally common for coins that have that size of a market cap if they are well known and they get the boost that they probably deserve, right? Like what you were talking about, Algo, Ondo, some of these coins that are in there. So to go up to a $30 billion market cap is not unheard of.
Right.
And so we will see that. It's just a matter of which are the ones that are going to make that coveted run up to the 30 billion.
Yeah, for sure. Regardless, you guys got to consider this stuff when you're making your bull run game plan, when you're making your average buy price, when you're making your personal targets. One of those deals where, I do understand some of the sentiment in the chat. I know, people are upset. Content creators say they sold 3 months later, the members are still holding. Well, to be fair, my public portfolio, when I bought the public portfolio, I said out loud, I'm not selling this until the top. And I don't believe that the November bull run was the top. In my public portfolio is down. It is down. And I've been very upfront about that. What I do with my personal bags is what I do with my personal bags. And to be fair, anytime you sell, you're the enemy. You're the opposition. I thought you were a community member. I thought you this. I thought you that. How dare you? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So it's like, bro, from where I stand, like, it's hard. Like, you don't want to. People are so black and white with this stuff that if you say, okay, I just sold, people are like, oh, that's it. You're just going to give up.
Screw you, man. I thought you were one of us, bro.
Exactly. So it's one of those things that's just like, yeah, personally, I took some profits, but I actually did say that I sold some of my personal bags. I did say that. But in terms of my public portfolio, I said that I'm going to buy and hold with this portfolio until the perceived top. I don't believe that what we saw was the perceived top, and I'm going to complete buying. So my what I do with my personal portfolio is like, I don't have to tell anyone what I do with my personal money.
Nope.
You know what I mean? But it's one of those things that you have to pay attention to these things. I'm also aware that the way this market altcoins have happened, at least since early 2024, is that we have our run up, we give it all back.
And then
we have our run up, we give it all back. We have our run up, we give it all back, and that's been basically the MO for altcoins.
So, compromise, are you going to tell your audience in the Telegram group when you sell for the main bull run?
Yes, of course, I'm going to tell my audience in the Telegram group when I sell for the main bull run, and I told my Telegram group that I took profits in my personal bags. Like, it's not that like I don't have anything to hide. I think and look, this is literally what happens. Like, if you sell or talk about selling, people get pissed. Like, why do you think I'm not going to come on the live stream and be like, oh, that's it, everybody, it's over? Because like, people are going to be like, oh, you're wrong, what an idiot, blah, 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 wow, all that shit. And it's just like, I mean, it is kind of hard to tell people you sold. It is. It's like, because like, people think they see it so black and white. They think that that's it. You gave up. It's over. That's it. When it's really like, no, I'm just getting out now.
Right.
And I'm definitely going to get back in later.
Dude, I'm telling you, I have said this, right? And you think about kind of the whole psychology of investing and how crypto has changed that. And I think NFTs really did a number on investing in crypto because the NFT bros coming over here and bringing their ideals of community and all that stuff over, which again, really brought the whole sell shame. I mean, back in the day, in the early days of crypto, like if you sold your bag, like no one gave a shit. Like, because it wasn't like that. But now that it's community, what we've done is we've changed our whole idea of investing, and we've ineffectively got married to our bags, which is 101. Like, you don't do that. But when you go to the Telegram, you're in the Discord, you're on the voice chats, you're on the shows and all that stuff, like how the hell can you not get married to whatever bag you're in?
Exactly. I mean, people,
and then that sell pressure happens.
The worst thing that ever happened to your gains is being a community member.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's an ultimate fact. And, you guys are all like, at the end of the day, you guys are all responsible for your own bags. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
We all
I
are.
can educate you and help you react to the market and show you the exact levels I'm reacting to the market at. I literally, for the Telegram group, you guys get my exact level that I am personally trading from. Who else does that? Please, like, show me. Like, who are they? Because I've been in everyone else's Telegram group for literally years. I've been in crypto for over a decade. Literally, my friend Eric Doris, who helped me make my first Bitcoin wallet ever, we buried him like 10 years and probably 12 days ago. Okay, and he got me into crypto probably 5 months before he passed away. So I've been in crypto for over a decade. So it's one of those things that, like, it's up to you guys to make a decision. I've always have said, guys, don't just listen to me. Don't just listen to JChains. Don't just listen to anyone. Listen to everyone.
Mhm.
Read everything. Get as much information as you can and make a decision. Like that, this is you got to have a deal breaker. The deal breaker for you is how many tough decisions can you make under pressure, basically with a financial weapon to your head, and be correct. How many times can you be under pressure and be correct? That's crypto. That's crypto. It is that simple. It's not a matter of blaming other people, pointing the finger. You know, anytime you point the finger at someone, you got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. And, you know, if people want to get upset with me over things I have done or haven't done, okay. But it's also, what's the point of making a public portfolio if you're going to jump in and jump out and jump in and jump out? I'm not doing that. When I make a public portfolio, I'm just going to build that portfolio, eat the losses, buy lower, and wait for the next run up. And if things were running up right now, people wouldn't be so. Like, I understand you guys, people put their hard-earned money to this. I know what it's like to look at a pile of $3,000 and think, holy shit, that's so much money. You know what I mean? Like, I know you are preaching to the choir. You really are. You really are. So it's one of those deals where, guys, you can go through life blaming other people, making excuses, pointing the finger, and not taking accountability for your own decisions. You can do that. You know, that's where that's going to get you. Fucking nowhere. Nowhere. Okay? Hate me, love me, indifferent, whatever. I was just a punk ass kid that used to race dirt bikes. I broke a lot of bones. I basically told myself, you know what? I'm going to get into this crypto thing. And I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure this out. And last year, I became a millionaire. Last year, I bought a Cybertruck. Right now, I'm about to move to an island in Washington. About to have my first child. I got, Jada and I are engaged. I got a lot of things happening in my life, and a lot of positive things happening in my life. And it's all because I grabbed this motherfucker by the horns and said, you know what? Let's do this. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? I put my head down. I went through the process everyone else talked about going through. I read the books. I listened to the podcasts. Anytime you're talking, you're not learning. You're only learning when you're listening. All right. And it's one of those deals where, guys, if the people that are upset, the people that have gone through the ringer, good. It's going to make you stronger. If you have got liquidated, good. It's going to get you strong. You know that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where they're like, does your wife think you're a piece of shit? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Get to work. Because the more you work on yourself, the more you focus on crypto, the more information you absorb, that's only going to help you. Knowledge is king. Knowledge is king. Okay? And I'm telling you to take a 2-cycle approach. That is the only way. Because let's get something very clear. If you start right now, right here, today, and say, you know what? Starting today, I'm going to read or listen or learn or analyze crypto for a minimum 3 to 4 hours every single day. Every single day. And we're going to take a 2-cycle approach. So if you do that every day until 2029, You don't think you're going to be successful? Really? We're going to focus on something for 3 hours a day for 4 years and take full accountability and like actually give it your all? If that doesn't work, I don't know what else will, because that's how I did it. Hard work beats talent every time. Hard work creates luck. It is that simple, guys. It really is that simple. I have gone through the absolute ringer. You guys have no idea. I literally broke 28 bones racing motocross. 28 bones. That's a lot of crashing. That's a lot of mistakes. That's a lot of, think about it. It's risk analysis going about, 40, 50 miles an hour in real time all the time. I think dirt bike racers make great traders because you understand risk analysis. You understand, okay, this is really going to hurt, or, this might be the safer route, but it might not be the most efficient. You have to find that middle ground between riding on the edge, about to crash, but safely and better and faster than everyone else. You have to have an edge on your competition. And sometimes you go too fast, you click through too many gears, hit a corner too quick, get cross-rutted up the face of a triple, whatever, and you get liquidated, you get wrecked, So guys, risk analysis, it has to happen in real time. Hindsight is 2020. But guys, I really want anybody who's struggling out there, I want you to take a long look in the mirror. I want you to really think about what were the crucial decisions that you made that you believed in at the time, but in hindsight were big mistakes. Big mistakes. I want you to think about that. And then in real time, so it's so different when you're talking about decisions, because in real time, it's always different than an hour ago or yesterday or whatever. So, and I want you to kind of, if you don't take your lessons with you, you're just going to kind of bing bong through it, man. You're not going to change. And I think the ability to change is concurrent with your ability to learn. And I think when you put yourself in a position where you hold yourself accountable, no one's going to wake you up. Hey, go read this article. Hey, go look at this chart for 30 minutes. No one's going to be your mom, other than your mom. You guys, you have to really you have to be disciplined. You have to be hard on yourself. No one, and this is kind of why I carry myself the way I do, is because no one can hurt me more than I have. No one can put me through more bullshit than I have. I think I'm harder on myself than any member of my audience. And I think that's because I always wanted, as a kid growing up, I always wanted to know why. I always wanted to know the reasons. And I've been kind of like a cognitive carpenter, a cognitive mechanic, in the terms that, okay, I don't understand how this thing works, but I will sit here and read or listen and learn and figure it out until the light bulb goes off my head and I go, oh shit, that's how that works. Got it. Some people are just curious like that, man. Some people are curious like that. And you're not going to get anywhere with a sense of entitlement. You're not going to get anywhere, hoping, looking for someone to hold your hand, unless you keep yourself accountable, unless you keep yourself disciplined. This ain't it. Crypto's too hard to make excuses, dude. This is the toughest. I want you guys to know this. It seems like a free money multiplier. It seems like, oh, I'm going to put my money here and then I'm going to come back and it's going to multiply by 5. And that was awesome, right? That was so fun. No. Crypto is way more difficult than people want it to be. It's one of the most difficult things you'll ever do. You're trading against the best, dude. You're trading against the best. I say this, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Every time you open a trade, you're trading against thousands of people that are sitting in front of a computer, maybe probably multiple monitors all day long. All day long. They literally do it in shifts. They're in shifts working. Oh, this person leaves the seat, the next person comes in with these agents. Dude, there are so many like trading places where that's all these people do. Like you're talking, not to mention the market makers, not to mention, you know, the algorithms and everything else that's kind of working against you in the moment. But I mean, doesn't always feel like when you look at a chart, you're like, oh, I totally get it. It's going to go this way. And you get in the trade and it goes the exact other way. Yeah, they do that. Like they know, like they know what you see. Like everyone sees what you see. You have to counter trade yourself. You have to counter trade your instincts. And a lot of times, like I actually had a period in time where when I was really going through the gauntlet trading at Hit Network, I would look at a chart and just kind of like, I would kind of go through it. I'd look at it and I would just make whatever my gut, oh, look at that. Whatever that was, I would go the other way. And that actually worked for me for a while. I know that sounds insane, and that's not, I'm not telling anyone to do that. But for a while, I traded like that. You guys got to understand, like, I don't just talk about trading. Like, I've been doing this forever, for a long time. And I've seen everything, bro. I've seen it all, dude. I've seen so much bullshit in crypto, and it's just like, this is why I'm so hard on you guys about risk analysis, like about like risk mitigation. Is like, okay, you see this setup, cool, don't trade it because you want to, trade it because there's something's happening that's worth taking a chance. If there's not an occurrence that's worth taking a risk, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that's why being really good at investing is all about knowing how to do nothing for long periods of time. Some people don't want to accept that. Some people feel like there's always something they can do right now. What's the thing I can do right now that's going to do with that? What? No. It takes time, guys. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen just by listening to my show or just by listening to someone else's show or just by reading one book. It's a lifestyle. It's creating habits and sticking to the habits. You are what you repeat. You are what you repeat. And if you repeat this lifestyle, if you repeat sitting down every day, opening a book, sitting down every day, listening to useful information, absorbing useful information, and focusing, consciousness and energy creates reality. And if your consciousness and your energy isn't fully both feet in this game, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You got to be both feet in. It's that simple. It's that simple. Love it or hate it. That's it. All right. So I do want to quickly. You good, Chains? You working on it?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. It's like the guest app like totally fried and it's not working. So I'm gonna try to get it.
Camera 2 if you want.
All right, I'm trying to get in this way real quick.
Yeah, just steal camera 2. It's all fine. All right. So we're gonna quickly run through some stories here, and then we'll get through the charts. But you guys are awesome. Smash the likes. I appreciate you. Shout out to the Ogre and Crypto Carter, Desert, all the OGs. Karen, we got to catch up very soon. All the things. You guys are great. I really appreciate you. Crypto.com faces backlash after reversing a 70 billion crow token burn, alleging vote manipulation. So, guys, back in 2021, they claimed to have the largest burn in token history. I'll just read this first paragraph. Crypto.com has come under fire after it reversed a major token burn on the Kronos blockchain, which was initially announced in 2021 as the largest token burn in history. The company planned to burn 70 billion with a B crow tokens to decentralize the network, but recently proposed to reissue these tokens, bringing the supply back to 100 billion. This has led to widespread community criticism and accusations of vote manipulation within the crypto community. Dude, I'm sorry, man.
No,
I know some people at crypto.com. Like, you know, I've gotten free tickets to the crypto.com arena in LA. Like, you know, I know some of these people. But what the fuck is this, dude? Oh man. I don't care how much I like you, bro. You gotta answer for this. This is unforgivable.
It's unacceptable,
dude.
It's totally unacceptable. It's like it goes against absolute every ethos you could imagine of crypto. Like the whole idea of unburning 70% of your. Think about all the people who maybe invested knowing that okay, this is a absolute huge thing. This is a tokenomics overhaul basically by burning 70%, and then all of a sudden you're just going to bring them back. Like people get wrecked. That goes against the ethos of crypto. Like this can't happen. Stuff like this cannot happen. So like I was saying on my show this morning, I just found this out yesterday. This is insane. And there was a potential to use crypto.com as like an on-off ramp. I'm done. Like I'm out as far as crypto.com is concerned until there's some new development.
Yeah,
it has to be.
There's nothing you could say to me that makes me go like, oh yeah, that's totally cool that y'all did that. It makes so much sense. Jesus, dude. Jesus. I don't know.
That's wild.
Absolutely insane. Hey guys, I do want to say very quickly, make sure you head over to YouTube. I'm not signed into my account, but make sure you go give my good friend JT's Crypto a follow. Working on his way, almost at 2.5, trying to get to 3K. Look at this $1,000 XRP bet.
By Christmas.
I wonder who he made that bet with. That's so weird, dude. That's weird. Guys, make sure you go give my good friend Jay Chains a follow. He's been really cranking some stuff out, working really hard. Love to see it. I know. I think as we kind of get into the summer and get into the meat and potatoes of this year, I'm really looking to see this channel grow and
Thanks,
to see one of my good friends, earn a spot in the space, which he, in my opinion, already has. But he's still, it's a work in progress. Time takes time.
But it's now that it's the focus, right? Everybody knows what's going on. And my goal is to make things work for me and my family. And just like everybody else's, right? I love the other day, and I know, we can move on with the show, but, the other day you had said something where, last year you were selfish, right? You made it about you, about your brand, your business. Bro, when I heard you say that stuff, like I was just like, motherfucker, like that's my year. This is my year to be selfish, to do that, to make it work for me and my family, because man, that's at the end of the day, that's what we got, right? That's who we are. We're husbands, we're fathers, and we're businessmen and showmen. And so like this is my year, man. I appreciate the support and the shout out there, man.
Appreciate 1,000%, guys.
Let's go.
Gotta be selfish. And I feel like people sometimes, man, I think they get me wrong. They kind of think like, oh, like you're kind of a jerk, like you're kind of a this, you're kind of a that. But dude, I would rather just like tell you for real than like try to sugarcoat it and be like this person. I'm not like, no, like I'm gonna tell you.
Yep.
Like we need more of that, dude. And when I say like you got to be selfish, I mean it.
That's it.
You got to make decisions. Like, dude, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do nothing. I don't go out. I don't give a fuck about a party. I don't care about going to the club. That's dumb, dude. I don't have time for that.
No way.
Like, no way, bro.
No, and just when you become a dad, dude, it's gonna get even worse.
Oh, dude, dude, I was watching Sons of Anarchy the other day, and there was this Lincoln Potter, which is like this district attorney, kind of like a police agent type person in the show. He tells this other cop, he's like, I don't really like people all that much. And I was like, dude, I totally feel that.
I vibe with that.
I totally feel that, man. And it's just like, listen, you have to be selfish. Like, I mean that. Like, when you got to be able to tell the people you love, no, I got a thing, not doing that. Oh, like, don't you want to come to this, to my aunt's, 40th? No, I'm not going.
Got stuff to do.
Oh, what's the date? Oh, the 21st. Yeah, got a thing. Oh, yeah, always the thing. Here's the deal. And I've said this to some people in my family, and even my wife has said, this is our strategy. Like, we've got 1 year. Like, we focus for the rest of this run after 2026 and beyond. Like, we're good, right? Like, that's the whole point. That's why you focus now, is because we know what's coming. And you just look at the news, you look at the narrative, you look at how bullish things are. I know the price doesn't correlate with it, but it's like that bullish divergence, right? Yep.
Like, think of it like this is what's happening in crypto. Price down, news.
That's fact. We got like a news divergence. That's a really good way to put that. I love that.
Boom.
We got a bullish divergence with like macro news.
Yeah.
That's facts, dude. That's a really good way to put it. And I completely agree. I do want to quickly look at the crypto.com chart here. And guys, this is what I've been saying. We have a pump, we give it back. We have a pump, we give it back. We have a pump, we give it back. It seems like
higher highs is good though.
but All right, so we kind of, that trend line is kind of setting on it if you connect these two things. Okay, so we kind of did test it and are at it now. That's pretty scary. But when you kind of look at it like this, okay, this is at 0.68. Brutal. Yeah, it really can't lose this level. If it loses this level, very bad, very, very bad. It did have a little divergence play out, and then it's kind of been like sideways, but in the red. So when you see like the momentum oscillator, it's actually really important lesson right here. You see how we kind of had the two moves here, but then the momentum oscillator, we're heavy in the red, right? But the momentum oscillator is just kind of like
just flattened out,
very flat. You got to stay. You can't be trying to trade that. You got to see. Oh, okay. I'm gonna wait for this. You know what that means? It's ranging, and anytime it's ranging, that means that you should probably figure out exactly what that range is. I would go ahead and say if you want to use this previous bottom, you can. But the price is very close to that, and that alarm's probably going to go off 100 times. I think probably a more definitive level would be this one. That would be at 0.761. All right. And I mean, how much of this trade are you giving up by doing that instead? Okay, 1.1% to set a little safer level. That's fine with me. And then we'll kind of go over here, and you can either kind of, not me to do that. You could either draw it like this. Oh my goodness, what is happening?
Is the back button working today?
Oh yeah, it's working way better. You can either draw it down like this because it has been slightly getting lower, or if you just wanted to go from this previous high here. All right, and then you can kind of deduce, okay, so from once it came down through this point, Crypto.com has spent the past 12 days inside of a 17% range. But if we go with these highs here and even that wick high right there,
tighten it up.
All right, going to tighten this range. So we got this 1, 2, 3, and a wick right there. So 4 times it's been rejected from this, and it only got above this once. This time was a 6.2%. So if we get back above this tightened level here, which is at 8.5 cents, you could have a 6% trade target to this, or target the top of the downtrend line right there. And so ultimately, if you ignore the one time it went 6% up, Crypto.com has spent most of the past 11 days, 12 days inside of a 12.5% range. There's your sign, guys. There's your sign. Anytime you see something ranging like that for a long time, when it breaks that range, react to it. There you go. And then look, we kind of have this wick target right here, and then the lower low target right here. So obviously your main alarms, short alarm at 0.0762. That's your short alarm here. And then your first target would be that wick, which is 5% down the hill at 0.725. And then the local low, 10.3% down the hill at 0.684. We are on the wrong side of the 50 EMA. So if we were to try to, say it bounces from here, you could wait for this range. But yeah, I do feel like there is some money to be made in the middle, considering how I would look at this is I would just kind of draw even this little local sharp downtrend right here, and then give myself like a mini confirmation from right this. So this is like a scalp tighten, because we have support resistance, support resistance, support resistance, support resistance. You get my point. Okay. And then if we can break this mini downtrend, get this confirmation at 0.7, I'm going to go said 0.79. If we can get above 0.79 and be above the 50 EMA on, say, a 23-minute chart, that wouldn't be a bad move to scalp. But just kind of giving you a little bit more insight on how to tighten ranges and stuff. So that is an overlook on crypto.com. I did want to talk about Ondo. So I gave you guys this Ondo setup. Is this the right one? This is a different one. I gave you guys an Ondo setup on Twitter, and I gave the Telegram group what happens to the Ondo setup if it breaks down. I'm glad I did that because it ultimately ended up breaking down. So as you can see, you kind of have these big, in Ondo, we have a big downtrend number 1, big break. Okay. Big downtrend number 2, waiting for the day to come.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting on the world to change. That's the song. That's the vibe right there. Okay, so so this is what I want to talk about right now, though. So obviously we see this big, heavy blue downtrend, and we also see something else that's been happening here.
Tight 10-day.
Okay, so you guys are already picking up what I'm putting down. All right, we came down. We came up. We came down. We came up. We came down. We came up. We came down. Okay, so how do you trade this, though? How do you trade this?
Trade the break, man.
Look, even if this one's a little bit more predictable, you know, most of the time I would say, okay, so since this moment in time right here, Ondo has spent the past 9 days and 22 hours, basically 10 days inside of a 10.9% range. 10.9% range, you know, and so the top of this range right here is 89.6. The bottom of this range is 80.08. 808. Okay.
808s.
808s. Boom, boom, boom. But how do you navigate the middle of this? Could you? Would you? Why?
Should you?
What I would say, downtrend, break. Downtrend, break. Downtrend, break. Okay. And one more, which is where we are now. You could draw it like this, which is a little bit wider, or you could connect the first two. I think the first two, connecting this one and this one, actually would make more sense because this one third spike happened after this one. So you're just kind of keeping the original trend line there. That's how I would prefer to draw that one. Okay. And of course, you're going to want to give yourself. So look back here. Let's go from the bottom. Let's look at, I'm going to really zoom in on this. Okay. Let's ignore market cipher. Let's ignore the volume profile. Let's ignore everything and just look at two simple things. Okay. And this is a lesson right here, everybody. So we have 3 downtrends breaks. All right. And each, so from the break, we're kind of looking at 7%, 5%, about 9%. All right. So about 5 to 9% per trade. Okay. If you could play it correctly. So of course, in hindsight, going from the break of the downtrend would be the entry, but that's not always easy to do in real time. So which is why we go with confirmation levels. So right here, we have this previous low right there. And at around that point, or even you could have gone from this high here where we were rejected to, because even if you went from this low or that high, inside of this box is where we got the bull cross. I'm looking at a 12-minute time frame. So you're kind of looking for the break of the trend line paired with a break of previous support resistance with the confluence of the EMA cross. Somewhere in this box would have been the green light go. All right. And like I said, about 6%. So, and look, how far from the bottom did the cross happen? So the cross happened 4% from the local bottom. We got the bull cross 4% above. Okay. Right there. Let's look at the next one. So let's just measure from the bottom. Where did the bull cross happen? This time, 4.5%. Interesting. What about this one?
3 something.
About 3.3%. So about 3-4% from the bottom, we get a bull cross. And as you can see, if you were to find, previous support resistance like in here, or even, this kind of local high right there, you could have used any of these levels. This one was a little bit easier because we had this low there that would have broken that confirmation. This was so a sharp move down that we could have broken the trend line, broke that as not when we got the bull cross, but when we got above the 50 on that one. So that one was kind of like the best one of these. But now what, right? So now what? Now what is that we're still underneath the 50 EMA. So right now you're waiting. All right. Also, all 3 times before this, we bounced off of this level. So if this alarm goes off, that is not a trade alarm. That's like a waiting for reversal alarm. I would not short that alarm. And that's an example of that. And if I'm wrong about that, okay. But it bounced off this alarm 3 times before that. I'm good. That's not worth the risk. We're always talking about risk mitigation. When is the significant occurrence worth taking the risk? So what I'm saying is, okay, so we might have a little bit more room to fall, about 1.4% if it was to perfectly test this bottom again. Possible. Maybe not. If you wanted to be nifty and alarm, the local low, you could, it would be right there, 0.816. Not much though. But what you're really going to want to do is you're going to want to set this low, that low alarm. You're going to want to set this high alarm. All right. And then hell, you could even set right here. It bounced off this level like 3 or 4 times before it popped. And then hell, if you want to pull out this, because this is going to be an alarm here because it did stop here multiple times before it continued. So that would all be relevant support resistance. So at this point, we're not trading any of these alarms until this one goes off. Okay? From top to bottom, 0.836, 0.828, 0.823, 0.816. And these are all possible confirmation alarms depending on where, if it turns and breaks here, if it comes down and breaks here, if it kind of wiggles and breaks there, you have a confirmation alarm set. And say it comes down, breaks, and this is the confirmation alarm. Well, guess what? You already have previous support resistance targets set for scalp targets. And what I like about all 3 of these targets is that they're all aligned with support resistance. They're aligned SR levels. Aligned levels are a little bit more powerful than striated levels. A striated level would be this one. Kind of got a floor ceiling
chops in the middle.
Support resistance here. Okay, kind of got the floor, got the ceiling. This alarm here, 0.851. Okay, and you see how this level is in the low volume node. It is striated with the low volume node, which means that it's likely to go through this alarm. It's not likely to stop and fight here. It's likely to go through it. Why? Because it went through it right here. It went through it right here. It went through it right here. There's not volume there. It's just going to, the price is going to Zumba vacuum up to the point of control if and when that breaks.
I agree that's probably on a pragmatic. I love what you're looking at here, and I look at the approach. And I've got my alarm set on the blue line, and it is same thing. It's to bring attention to it, which I know we're close. It's not to make the trade because it could go down lower, but what you need to look at is zoom out to the monthly, and you will see that we are darn close to the trend line that we have been on an upward trend. If you look at the monthly,
yeah.
So you would be able to you'd know that okay, so what's happening is we're getting close to maybe bouncing off of our multi-month trend line, moving up.
Yeah. There's a couple of really macro trend lines coming up with Ondo that I've had my eye on. Guys, you always want to zoom out, monthly, weekly, daily, zoom in from there. Okay, and then you kind of get down to your scalp levels. All right, very quickly going to run through some stories. Zach XBT doing his damn thing again. Also, I feel like there's Zach's XBT levels of things pulling off, and then there wait, where's my other story? Oh no, don't tell me I lost it. Where is it? Oh no, I don't think. Oh, right here. Justin Bonds exposes Pi Network. Closer look, scam claims. This guy, man, I don't know how I feel about him. He's smart cookie, that's for sure. But he's kind of like abrasive, and I don't think he's a traitor. I just think he talks shit, and that's fine. But he did the same thing with Algorand, and I feel like John Allen Woods and him were supposed to debate, and they never did. And I wish they did, because John would just destroy this guy.
Him.
But this guy, is kind of trying to point out the flaws and trying to make things are more decentralized. He's kind of pissed off about Pi Network, basically saying Pi is fully permissioned centralized and everything requires KYC, even simple transactions. Pi is an investment scam. It is that bad. And I think in this situation, I don't know. I don't really think he's wrong. I've always thought Pi was weird. I've never trusted it. I would like to, and I want to see how this goes out, but I think there's certainly a difference between the Zach XBT type of, hey, look at you, or the Justin Bonds type of, hey, look at you. So it is funny to see the tokenomics there. Why has Algo Foundation been selling so much? I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm certainly going to inquire. I saw some tweets about it. And then yesterday I was kind of a little bit more focused on Stacey speaking after Trump. I wanted to leave it on, but we couldn't figure out the volume, so I just kind of clicked away. But it was really cool. Stacey Warden went on right after Trump spoke. Nice. She got on the stage, which was dope, and she did a really good job. Shout out to Stacey, man. She is really, really awesome. Big fan of Stacey. But I will have to look into that. I mean, I think that they have every right to. I mean, you have to understand, like with Algorand's kind of quickly here, we do need to get to the charts. I will run through them pretty quick, but I mean, you have to understand with Algorand's supply is that, you know, they're 85% of the way there. Okay, and they only have 14 point whatever percent left of the supply to do stuff with. That is kind of the last of their leverage. Do I think that they're selling it and going and putting it in their pockets and running out on their fucking tiptoes? No. No, they're not. They're probably, paying people. They're probably making partnerships. They're probably, using the money for good. You have to understand that there isn't like a vesting schedule at this point. The last 15% of their supply is at their discretion. And I have talked to John about this. And John basically was like, look, dude, like, some people were worried that it was going to come out too fast. And he was like, I don't think it's going to come out too fast because that's all the leverage we have. That's the last we can do to help grow the community, to help grow the other projects building and stuff like that. So we're going to be very careful with how we go about this last 15%. So like, I don't think we can get pissed off just because they're doing what they are literally allowed to do. And the damage could only be so bad anyway. You know what I mean? So
right.
I think, of course, people are always going to look into this thing. Anytime anybody makes money, people get pissed. But it's just like, guys, like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. I feel like, those types of conversations change once you realize $1 million isn't a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Fair point.
It's not. It's not a lot of money. And, people with not much will say, well, that's easy for you to say. Blah, 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 blah. I get that too. I've been there too. But I also say that I don't think Algorand's doing anything mischievous. I think that they have transparency reports, and I'm interested to see what the next one says.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be looking at it. That's for sure. That's totally sure. Wait, why? We got a deleted chats. What happened? Oh, XRP market cap. Oh, we got a XRP.
No,
the general of the XRP army coming into. Oh, shut up. He told Desert to shut up. Ooh, look at him go. It was cooking, dude.
Who is?
No, it doesn't. Market cap doesn't matter for XRP. Do some research. Found out why. Learn some. All right, here we go again. All right, let's do this real quick.
How do you find the price of a crypto?
All right, let's talk about.
I get what he's saying, though.
No,
I get what he's saying.
I don't.
I think basically he's not
what he's trying to
incorrectly. He's saying that the narrative matters more than the chart right now. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Today, how do you quantify the narrative? With money.
It's a good point.
The market cap quantifies the narrative.
I think
you know why Solana costs more than HBAR? Narrative. You know what I mean? Like how did they do? Because they were institutionally more attractive, or had better
more
connections, conversations, and got institutional investors to back them. Narrative. Okay. So, but how do you quantify this? By a simple thing called a fraction. A fraction. And in a fraction, we have a numerator and a denominator. Okay. And this equation is the price of a token. So,
I definitely, I'm with you, and I think that's funny to like just so everybody, yeah, the market cap is definitely plays a very pivotal role into the price. They are all synonymous in how it all works together. But I think
It's the numerator. The market cap is the numerator,
I think,
and the circulating supply is the denominator, and that fraction equals the price of a coin. Every coin, do it to Bitcoin, do it to Ethereum, do it to any coin.
Right.
The price of the coin is the market cap divided by the circulating supply.
Right.
The market cap is the numerator.
I think where we're headed in uncharted territories, right? Where the narrative will propel the market cap, right? Because it will push the dial to make things grow. I think it's a short-sighted thing to say that the market cap doesn't matter, but just understand that the narrative.
Say, but at the end of the day, anytime you see the price of XRP, that's because of the market cap was divided by the supply, and that's the price of the fucking coin. All right, like I don't care. Like that's the equation. It's very simple. And I'm not trying to like talk down to anyone, but it's just like
it's funny.
You're gonna come blah 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 blah. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, what's up? All right, okay. So that was fun. Okay, so Michael Saylor, Lil John of crypto.
There you go.
Try BTC. Yeah. Plans to raise $711 million to fund Bitcoin acquisition. This guy, man, he's like, dude.
Is he just he's issuing more dummy stock to buy more Bitcoin?
Dude, you know how good he would be if he was a criminal? If Saylor was like a drug lord in Breaking Bad, he would be like a formidable opponent. Hector Salamanca don't have shit on Michael Saylor.
A pollo chicken or whatever. Do you think at the end of the day, do you think Saylor and what his strategy is? And I think at this point he's got half a million Bitcoin, right? Like about 500,000, 499,000, something like that. Do you think that's good for crypto? Do you think that's good for Bitcoin to have someone that has that kind of?
Anytime people are going to do that, bro. But I think that I'm okay with it because what has Saylor always said? Never sell your Bitcoin. Never sell your Bitcoin.
At least he's on the good side, right?
And a lot of his projections when he was talking at Bitcoin Miami 2 years ago, he was saying Bitcoin's price projection by 2045. This is not a guy that's trying to flip. This is a guy that's looking at the long term.
Right. Well, he doesn't even think that he's going to get rid of his Bitcoin like after he dies. Like it's just going to be sacrificed to the ecosystem.
Maybe. But I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. All right. So the SEC dropping the XRP case was apparently priced in since the Trump election. And guys, I agree with this.
We knew it was coming.
When people say that, oh, why didn't XRP pump more? Well, it was already priced in because Trump told us at Bitcoin Nashville that Gary was gone. Trump gets elected, we know Gary's gone. You know what I mean? And Gary actually stepped down. So he didn't get fired. But we all know, like Gary, like you got fucking fired, bro. Like don't. Peace. You didn't quit first. Like don't. He broke up with me. No, I broke up with him.
No, if there's anything we know about Donald Trump, you fired. That was his thing. Right. He was the firer.
Right. So for sure. I mean, I agree with this, but at the same time, though, I was waiting for a little bit more fireworks. You know what I mean? But you know what? People are so ready and willing to look past is the multiplier factor here.
What is the multiplier effect it's got?
When we were buying XRP at 60 cents,
3Xs ago,
there was a little bit more money to be made. But now it's $2.38. The market cap, which is the numerator, is $138.3 billion. So regardless of XRP's god awful tokenomics, by the way, and like the way they do their arbitrary escrow system, man, is beyond me. But for XRP to go to 480, we got to double $138.3 billion. It just be, and what I'm saying here is that the reason the needle didn't move on this news is because before, if a news story this big would move the needle $20 billion back when the market cap was $40 billion, that would have been a really big deal. But now the market cap's 100 and basically 100, almost 140, and close to that. When a $20 billion news story happens, it doesn't move the price as much as it would before, and has like that diminishing return effect because the market cap is so large. And like, do I think XRP could end up being baseline, cross-border payment settlement layer? Sure. Do I think that would eventually take its market cap into the trillions? Probably. I think that could happen. But this bull run, it's March. We're talking September, November, December this year. Oh, no. Time takes time for that to happen. And you also have to understand that if XRP goes to 1 trillion from here, that's still not a 10x.
All we need is a 4.
But that's fair. What for Christmas? You're right. All you need's a 4. But like, I think people hold XRP thinking that they're gonna 10x their money, and I'm just like, dude, like,
there is
if this market cap went to 1 trillion, you still wouldn't 10x.
Right. Well, I think
that's not gonna happen this bull run, bro.
You do hear a lot of big talking. I'm not sure what's happening with the phone today, so
it's okay. Use my second camera.
Okay.
Use this one. Hold on, let me say goodbye to my second camera really fast. I haven't done this yet today, but I do appreciate you guys. Make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Much love. All right, bye, second camera. See you later. Okay, so couple chings. Okay, so $12, he says. Hey, I hope so, bro. I'm fine with walking. If XRP goes to $10, good. Because everything else is going to just rip. And if that happens, I'm probably going to walk with 30 mil. 20, 25 mil. And I'm cool with that. That's cool. Yes, let's go. I hope it does, guys. I think people get me wrong, dude. I want stuff to succeed. I want it to pump. I just... That fraction I do in my brain, it stops me from being unrealistic. And the problem is that people just kind of eat the fucking Kool-Aid of people in crypto that will say anything they can for attention. I'm not that guy. I never will be. That's why people like me. I'm gonna be completely real with you, and I do think there is something to be said about how other coins went so far down in Fibonacci, and how XRP held its value, similar to HBAR. There are only so many altcoins that didn't give it all back, which makes me think that those powers to be don't want us to get this coin on the low, which makes me think that it's probably going to go much higher. That's fair. But you also have to think to yourself, dude, we are talking about a market cap that's already $138.3 billion.
I got to get with Gabriel because I got to know what the multiplier is, because if that's the secret weapon, I got to know.
I mean, the end result, guys. I mean, I'm also bullish on XRP, Gabriel. You're missing me. You think I didn't make a couple $100,000 on XRP?
But do you think
you're literally?
I think there are things in play where it's it is out of the expectation of what was going to happen. Which if you were, because you think in the global derivatives market, there's quadrillions, right? That's the kind of money that is involved there. And if say XRP does happen to become the settlement layer of something like that, once we get through tokenization, that's insane. Are we going to have to see that this year? Probably not. No, but you could see something start to test ground, or a sandbox for something like that, which would ultimately bring more attention to the potential, and you start to see that ramp up. Again, it's all speculation, I think, at this point. Yeah, I love the pragmatic approach, but we do have to smoke a little hopium here and there.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Hey, what the fuck is Leo?
Leo?
13th by market cap?
It's the Usinus Leo or whatever. I've seen it before. I don't know.
I've seen it before, but I didn't understand in my brain that it was 13th by market cap.
Well, we're diving in today.
Oh, I clicked on it and it's for Bitunix. That makes sense. So it's the token for Bitunix. Can you chat GPT that real quick? Oh, Leo, to MetaMask to view your how to add Leo token to MetaMask. Oh, can you just chat GPT what it is? Ethereum chains, Ethereum and Sora categories, centralized exchange token. Okay, yeah, centralized exchange token. That makes sense, and it's for Bitfinex. Okay, that makes sense. I don't use Bitfinex, so that wouldn't be that familiar with me. Very quickly before we go into yesterday we did top 10 charts. Now we're going to go 10 through 20, or the coins that matter the most. Texas Grogger, I'm with you. XRP burning mechanism is extremely sus. We talked about that yesterday
with the RLUSD thing.
So very quickly, let me find the tweet here. I currently have 2 live giveaways that I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is the last day for this one. This is the Bitunix giveaway. We did this March 11th, so it's been up for 10 days. This is the last day. All you have to do is sign up for Bitunix, follow, like, and retweet to enter. 5 lucky winners get $100 in crypto. 3 winners get 6 months in the Telegram group. If you're already in the group, it will be added onto your subscription. And the grand prize is 1 year in the Telegram group, the new Grogger merch, and $250 in crypto. There are only 109 retweets here, and hoping all of these people did what they were supposed to do. You still have there's 9 chances to win and 109 retweets at the most. So I feel like you probably got like a 7 or 8% chance to win something, which is pretty strong, to be honest. So head over to Twitter, get involved in the Bitunix giveaway. But I also have another live giveaway right now. We are testing platforms for the Tesla giveaway. I'm giving away a Tesla. I'm giving away a Tesla Model 3. I'm giving away a fucking car. A Tesla Model 3. And then this year, we're giving 3 more away after that. 4 cars this year for you. For you, guys. 4 cars.
Well, that came up sooner than I thought it was going to.
It's coming, dude. It is happening. It's happening. It's happening. And we're testing platforms. All right. And this platform sweep widget, man, I got to say, they're doing a pretty good job. Basically, you click on it. All right, it takes you to this thing. It shows you the terms and conditions. There's already 734 entries. What?
Damn.
Okay, that's dope. And then all you have to do is follow the Twitter, subscribe to YouTube, follow the Instagram, and then once you do these, the Bitunix sign up is unlocked because these are mandatory. That is not. But this is worth more entries than these. Okay, so there will be 5 winners altogether. We will email you with what to do. All you have to do is put in your name, your email address, enter giveaway, and then follow the things. It's very simple. It's very simple. And what I really like about Sweep Widget is that you can actually, JChains, you can ask people to mandatory download an app to enter the giveaway. So when we do the VeChain one, download VWorld.
Oh.
That, you know what I mean? So that is like really good functionality. I know some people are having problems with it on Chrome, but I have Chrome on my second computer back there, and it didn't have that problem for me on Chrome. So I think it's just a settings thing if you run into that. But I do want to say, just to finish this thought here, so 5 people will win $200. Very simple. Do the things, like, retweet, all the stuff. We're testing out. And yesterday, before we get into the charts, final thing, I talked to Paul Zisser from the
nice
Tampa.
Yep,
it's happening.
Nice, let's go.
The Tampa Pro is happening. Pull the website for you guys really quick. Blah 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 blah. Oh, what did I do there?
Tell me when you're there.
Almost. All right. Blah, 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 blah. 1 second. Media events. Tampa Pro. Okay, you can go ahead. All right, so this is 31st annual Tampa Pro, Tampa, Florida, April 3rd to the 6th. This is the best professional skateboard contest of the year as a single event. There is like the SLS series, and then there's like X Games and shit. But this is like your skateboarders' favorite contest, and it's a weekend of mayhem. There's multiple contests, the best trick, the concrete jam, qualifiers, finals, all of that. And I am sponsoring this event as a YouTuber. I'm gonna be able to go hang out with the guys, put the headset on, be on the broadcast for a little while. I'm giving $5,000 to the skater who lands the best trick, in my opinion, of the weekend. I'm also giving away $5,000 to the audience of people watching it. So and I will post it on my Twitter, if you guys want to get involved, 5 people are winning $1,000. You guys can sign up for this giveaway just like any other giveaway. All right. So keep that in mind, that will be happening probably that Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to put the giveaway out probably a couple days early, so it's like a whole weekend kind of thing. But yeah, so giving away 10 grand altogether. And
good for you.
This is kind of just another testing ground for the Tesla giveaway, because the Tesla giveaway is basically the week after that.
Yeah.
So
coming up.
Yeah,
wow.
Coming up. And this is like a really big event. If you don't understand skateboarding or that culture, okay. But in that world, this is like a big deal.
And I think it's cool, man. It's it's a good first touch point for you to reach out to a traditional Web 2 audience and kind of see. And again, you had said yesterday, there's no hard sell. There's nothing you need to buy other than, hey, this is what we've got going on over here. If this is something that interests you, potentially as a young person who gets taught no financial literacy or education whatsoever in schools, because we all know they don't teach you shit in the schools. So if there is something that you can do to make yourself a better person, to be financially free as you get your come up, come on, man. Come on, man. I love this. I love you doing it.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a financial awareness, financial education thing. And the thing is that I think the key to this is to try to break out of crypto only to bring people back. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't want to like become a Web 2 influencer.
No.
But I want to be recognized as like, oh, that's the crypto guy, and that's fine with me. But I feel like, people, blockchain companies specifically, kind of struggle because they want like people with millions and millions of followers. And I'm like, well, these Web 2 influencers don't know shit about crypto. So like, do you want to, hire someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, or someone with a much smaller audience that does know what they're talking about? So it's just kind of like, I am trying to bridge that gap. And there's a lot of little opportunities like this along the way. And I understand this stuff costs money. I'm spending probably about $25,000 on this entire thing. And I'm cool with that. I mean, I have to take chances, and I have to gamble, and I have to, do stuff outside of crypto if I want to break through. Right. That's the only way to do it, dude. It really is. So,
and I think it's really smart doing it in ways that's very authentic to who you are, right? Like skating is a passion of yours. It's something that you've been around, the culture, you understand it. It's not like some corporate dweeb that's like trying to do this to break into a certain demographic or ecosystem or whatever. No, it's authentically you doing something you can to, whether it's help out people that were in a position like you, or just explore your passions and see what you can do. Like, I think it's really important, again, that you find ways to bring your passions into the ecosystem.
Yep, for sure. You have a big shout out. Excited to be at Tampa, April 3rd through the 6th. Going to be a really good time. And then basically I'm staying in Florida because the UFC fight is the next weekend, doing the thing I can't talk about. I can't wait to talk about that. And then I'm doing the first podcast with Sunny, which is where we're doing the giveaway. And then next weekend, I see Sunny in DC. I fly home. I'm seeing Boys Night Out on Tuesday, April 1st, which is crazy. One of my favorite bands from like 9th grade. And then I'm basically driving to Florida the next day, and I'll be there for 2 weeks. And then we get back and we're moving to Washington.
Boom.
Like bam, 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 bam. Holy shit. You know what? Yeah.
If you ain't busy, you're bored.
And of course I'm going to the Supercross this weekend. So there's like just not. So basically, like next week, is some of the chill. Last time, really, I get to chill. And also, quick note: next week we are live streaming Monday. We're live streaming Tuesday.
That's it.
And
then you're out. Yep.
Then I'm out. All right. So I will obviously try to work in a members only or some additional videos and stuff like that. But, got a lot going on. We are moving across the country. There will be a little bit of a drop. So we okay, gotcha. That's cool. Ogre, hit me up. All right. So let's quickly hit these charts. I don't know about Leo, so I'm skipping that one. I don't give a shit about Leo. Chain link. Link.
Stinky linkies.
Here's our Solana chart from yesterday.
Pull you up.
Oh, yeah, good. And as you can see, we kind of went through all these levels. It perfectly kissed and bounced down, and now it's going back into the pennant. It's getting very close to this downtrend where this will be your confirmation would be a 122 break down, 136 break up. Very interesting. I want to go to a different chart because that one was being weird. There is the Cardano setup. Like I said, that awareness line was chilling, but it's still in that range as well. That's worth looking at. Link. All right. Okay.
Are we doing some Gone theory or something?
Yeah, a little bit of Gone theory going on here. So let's see what we're talking about. Okay, so this actually makes complete sense. So Chainlink, has been one that has really respected Gone theory in a lot of ways. Let me get rid of some of these old levels quickly. Okay, you can stay. Okay, so it has really perfectly respected Gone theory in so many ways, man. You kind of got, this, how it stayed in above the 1-1, how it kind of perfectly rejected below the 1-1, and then, how it perfectly went up that level, perfectly wicked down to this level. And even there's kind of like a midline inside of this band where it has been rejected and is held as well, if you were to kind of look at it like that, with these types of touches in there. So certainly a lot to look at when it comes to Chainlink. We did get the daily death cross. Like I said, I feel like if you go from the past death cross to the current, to the more recent bull cross, it took about 145 days. So 145 days from this bull cross, if we were just use that for a rough math estimation, would take us to August, which makes complete sense when we're talking Q3, Q4 type of look there. So, and also we this kind of growing trend line right here, I would alarm that, because it has been putting slightly higher lows this whole time, and just like all the other coins, it had its run in December and it gave it all back. All right, and that tends to be the unfortunate truth for most projects other than the ones that have been chosen. Wink wink, XRP H bar. So, and then if we kind of draw this down like that, okay, that's how I would interpret this like little triangle we got going on here. I would certainly not be sleeping on that alarm. I would not be sleeping on the local low, the body low, not the wick low at 1266. And then the previous high over here be at 1526. And then, of course, there are a couple, you can extrapolate a couple big floor ceiling support resistance levels at 1782. I would say that right there is the biggest deal for a support resistance level. Why? Because it was bounced off of this multiple times and was rejected off of it multiple times. And it is a lined level in the volume profile, although we have a little gap that gets us to that level. So I feel that once Chainlink finds a way, that will be the decision level of, are we going to break back into this value area, or are we going to stay into this value area? So, that little baby range where there's this bottom, right? That level is 1940. And then this next one is at 1770. All right. And this little baby range is kind of like the no man's land, but that is like the difference between value area high and value area low. So those two alarms are going to play a big role when Chainlinks puts in that curvature. If you wanted to zoom in a little bit, just very quickly on like a 23-minute chart. Okay. All right. So we have our levels here. All right. We already talked about that. It is kind of very well respecting Gone theory in more ways than one. All I would say about this is that I would kind of just draw this up. All right. And it is very close to breaking down. And then I would say if you needed like some confirmation levels, you could go from this little low from this back here, that little group of bounces, and then obviously the previous lows out from there. You can target any of these things if it is breaking down from this uptrend that started March 10th. So it's been respecting this uptrend for about 11 days. It is very close to it. This could be the next touch bounce. Very well, could be. But I would still set up confirmation alarms. And then if you wanted to C range it, I would go from this high here, which would be 1421. So there you go. Overlook on Chainlink complete. Also want to say over 137 people watching the show. Thank you for being here.
Smash
you
that like.
guys are awesome. Chainlink's tokenomics 638 into a billion. On its way. Not the best, but not bad.
Not terrible.
either.
Do you think, real quick before we move on, the narrative of Chainlink versus Pyth, however you want to say it, do you feel like, and what I kind of feel like for Pyth to have its time in the light as far as our oracles are concerned, is that Chainlink's going to have show its actual success, and success will breed competition, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that it's going to take that for it to even for people to know what it is.
Yeah, the Oracle space
it's very low interest. It's not sexy.
It's not sexy. There's heavy competition. All right.
Mhm.
So next one on the list, we're going to look at Toncoin, Stellar, HBAR, and Avalanche, and then that will be a wrap.
Boom.
All right. So Toncoin, we kind of got a circulating into total with a no max situation. Obviously, it's kind of still in its infancy. There was a lot of hype around this one. It had a really parabolic move, and then the hype kind of died. The hype died. The coin stayed in the top 20, but the hype isn't where it was, and we can all agree on that at the least. Wait, where was my
It all happened around the time that Pavel got arrested.
Yeah, that right. How could I forget about that? That was extremely big. And then, another thing they kind of, I quickly want to say, I feel that Toncoin kind of hit network themselves, where they had something cool, and then they, off the name of that, they tried to do something else cool, and 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 each other thing they did became less cool. Where they had the tap to play games,
Right.
What was the first one called? We used to trade it all the time in the Telegram group. What was it called?
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
But there was the one before Hamster Combat. Anyway, yeah, but like they just kept doing more things, and each one got worse and worse, and it ultimately just ended up looking bad for Ton, which is like the main thing. So there's that. Okay, so daily. All right, so we kind of already have some levels here, and as you can see, we have already broken down through no man's land. Actually, really interesting spot where the price is because of this low volume node. See how quickly it dropped down through here, which should tell you, okay, so that's kind of like a no man's land, where this previous high, that is everything. Getting above that level on the daily is a very big deal for Ton. Because we're talking, okay, we came here, it got rejected a bunch of times, and then it got rejected again, and now it's like fighting at the 50 at support resistance. These other levels under don't matter as much, but this level is a very big deal because it takes you into the low volume node, and it's the separation between value area low, value area high. All right, so that alarm for Toncoin is 3.956. 3.956. That is the alarm for Toncoin. And also, even locally, the point of control is up the hill there. A couple ways to interpret this. It was one of the coins that did not put in a higher high in December. It didn't even pump that crazy. It went from here. So November. So when everything else pumped 300%, 200%, 800%, this pumped 47%. This did worse than Bitcoin, which makes me think that, did it, even back to all-time high is 129%, man. That kind of hurts. I feel that unless you were one of the people that got in over here, unless we keep going down like under 270, maybe you could kind of get behind it. But this is not a coin I'm targeting. I will be straight up honest.
Like, what does it do? What do you need it for? What utility?
Telegram.
But do you need? I use Telegram and I don't need it.
But I think that it was smart that they did it. You know what I mean? I just think that awareness, like just for the crypto win, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And if you kind of just to finish the TA, if you were to just connect this more local downtrend here, all right, you know, kind of getting these more local touches. This most recent hit was a rejection from the local downtrend trend line with the top from December 4th. So this local high now becomes confirmation. Like I said, around 394, 395, right in there. And then because this is no man's land, this kind of previous high becomes a target. And then you're trying to get through that volume profile so that if we were to get that move up, that would be roughly, oh, come on, measuring stick. Just measure for me. About 12.7%. So
not bad.
Yeah, make sure you guys set that trend line, set that alarm. Those are the only really things that matter. I'm not trying to leverage coin trade this one. I'm not day trading this one. But if you wanted to day trade this one, that's your alarm. That's your alarm. Yeah, I'm not much on ton coin, dude. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like I feel like I remember when like Keeper was talking about it and stuff, and I just kind of didn't get on the boat. And if there was a time for me to get on the boat, it would have been back then, you know, and I kind of missed it. So like, I understand your question. And I think that it's cool that Telegram like has a crypto project, but at the end of the day, man, like, is this something that I'm really looking at all the time? No, it's not.
Nope.
I mean, are you a ton bull?
No.
Okay. That's why I didn't know. Okay. Stellar. Circulating 30.7 into 50, so not the best. Probably has a long way to go. Probably has a very long roadmap. This project's been around forever. There are people out there that are, you know, much more bullish on XLM than XRP, or, you know, they're still kind of buying only ISO coins, which wasn't even really technically a thing. And then, you know, and to be fair, dude, I've never been much of buying XLM. I don't hold XLM. But that should shut anyone up. It pumped 580% in 19 days.
That's big.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy talk. And then it lost 32% of it. And then it went almost all the way back up on November 30th. That if that isn't enough to shut anyone up about the potential of this one, I don't know what else to tell you, because now that level is what? It's a target. And from our current price to that level is 130% away, which is the difference between buying something here or buying something here. The multiplication factor. Because down here, you know, there was a lot, the price where the market cap was and where the price was, you can get so much more so many more X's by buying in that value area. And that's what I think sometimes people miss when I'm talking about not buying XRP where it is, because like you're not going to get that same effect as if you were to be one of the lucky ones down here. But regardless, you know, XRP wins, XLM wins too. They do kind of have a little bit of that correlation together, at least a little bit. What I will say is that this previous high back here has been flirted with, and that is certainly the difference between, you know, the past and the now. All right. So that level is 0.242. That is obviously probably the biggest alarm on this chart historically. The local low should also be alarmed as well at 0.2249. Also, pay attention to the downtrend. That is very obvious. You know, death cross pending, but this is the kind of a setup where it doesn't always have to death cross. It could be like a short kiss. Very well could be. And then if you want to look at these lows here, there's a very important level right there at 0.302, where is this a floor, and then it was a ceiling. And if it breaks out, that could become confirmation. So that is an extremely important level, for XLM. All right, and then one more level at 32.2, and then that's when we kind of start getting into the rest of the chop on the way up the hill, you know, 36.2, even that low there at 38.7, 44.1, and then we're kind of talking the rest of the support resistance level. But when you're talking initial breakout plus confirmation, Yeah, 30.03, 32.3, and 36.4. Those alarms should do you well. And then if we get the breakdown, historical SR is 24.24, 0.2424. Local low is 0.225. And then it is a death drop into no man's land. We would probably see all of this, see how quickly it came up. That's how quickly it can come down. That's how volume works. And, from that local low to that would be a 22% drop down to 17 cents. So that would be a target if it was to completely break down. Unfortunately, keep a close eye on it, set those alarms, and most importantly, set this downtrend line on XLM, kind of a basic parallel downtrend. It's not exactly a triangle, but it looks like one. It's kind of more of a descending wedge. Okay. That's all I got for XLM. Very quickly, let's run to Avalanche. Got 2 charts left, and we're done. We have gone very long into this live stream, but you guys are awesome. It's a Friday, and also we have members only at 2 or 2:30-ish. We'll figure out the exact. I'll let you know in the Telegram group. And guys, of course, if you want to sign up for the Telegram group, if you like the way I do TA, if you like the way that I look at this stuff. Oh, thank you, Not Coin Ogre.
Yes.
Not Coin. Thank you. But guys, sign up for the Telegram group if you're not in it already. We have well over 300. I think it's 310 traders now. I couldn't be more proud of this group, man. I really couldn't be more proud of this group. We do a lot of work. We, the traders that really pay attention to the details, dude. There are traders in this group making tens and thousands of dollars every single week. They send me the screenshots. They send me the money. They're like, dude, thank you so much. Like, I get so much support, so much from the people who are like the disciples that are like, let's do this, whatever it takes. I give up. Let's do it your way. Those people are killing it.
Love it.
Killing it. AJAlphaGroup@gmail.com. It's down below. Send me an email. We'll get you signed up in the Telegram group. It's I've been in everyone else's Telegram group. So I made
the super group.
I made the super group. That's right. So let's finish AVAX tokenomics 414 into 720 with a total of 450. Not totally sure. I remember I did a video on this one before. I don't remember the roadmap, but similar to XLM, it's going to be a while. These kind of it's really established top 20 projects, man. That they're going to continue for sure. The rest of the supply isn't just going to come in one day. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm not too worried about that at the end of the day.
No, and the narrative, while you pull up the chart and all that stuff, the narrative with AVAX, I think, real strong in both the gaming and the RWA ecosystems, right? And so while we're waiting for these things to kick off, you got to think when you look at the price of where this thing's been and where it's at. It's a big opportunity. I love AVAX. But I feel like it's got a little bit of time before it reaches its potential.
Oh, dude, 100%. Look at kind of like this previous death cross here. And like from the death cross to the EMA low was a 30% drop in 66 days. And from the death cross to the bull cross was 161 days. So we got death cross to the bull cross 161 days out.
I wonder what.
July.
Q3. Interesting.
Yep, interesting. And then 30% drop to the EMA bottom. We're already past that. So if you go from death cross to the bottom was 30%. Death cross to the bottom this time is 31%. That can kind of tell you maybe the bottom's in. This is what I'm worried about with AVAX. Not only did it fall below expectations from very bottom, or I'll just go from this bottom to December top, 172%. Don't get me wrong. This to this is still a very good gain. From its current price now to the December high is a 200% pump. Ooh. That's no joke, guys. And then to the 2024 high is a 252% pump. That's no joke. What worries me is that despite the bullishness is that it is overall in a downtrend. It put in a lower low now, and it put in a lower high when we pumped. Yes, there is still money to be made in the upswings of this. And we have to be extremely If we go from swing low here to top, we're under the 786. If this isn't a buy zone for AVAX, I don't know what the fuck is a buy zone. I don't know what else to tell you.
Right.
You know, even if it comes and kind of bounces, like it could fall another 20%. You guys got to understand that too, is that so we already put in this wick low, okay? And that actually is perfect support resistance.
With that right there, yeah.
Back here, just about anyway. Yeah, very close. Back there, all right? This alarm is 1529. 1529. It's at 1840. It could come back, drop 17%, and bounce off that again, double bottom to the rip. You know, you never know. But I would say if you consider the measurements of the last death cross, if you kind of look at the last setup, I mean, look at the last time it came down from a death cross. It kind of came in, it bounced, it got rejected from the 200 EMA, came down again, formed an inverse head and shoulders, and eventually ripped out. Okay, so let's think about that. So it bottomed, tested the 200. How far is AVAX from the 200? Oh, I don't know, 64%.
Sheesh.
64%. So, guys, these are the things you got to think about. Not to mention bullish divergence on the daily. I don't like the red dot on the daily either. So I'm going to let this one breathe. And I'm not going to guess. I'm going to react. So locally for AVAX, it's kind of an obvious little setup here. This is kind of a curved uptrend, which these are weird, but they do exist. It looks like that. Draw that the best you can and alarm it. And then we kind of got perfect floor ceiling support resistance right here with the previous high at $20.14. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. And then we have I would say like one of these lows, like this, which kind of aligns with the curve downtrend. I messed that up. Sorry. All right. So that would say that's the current C range at 1785 to 2016. All right. So I don't really care about what happens in here. I care about how it's going to break from here.
Right.
And, you know, keep in mind on the daily chart, the 200, which is like very likely to get to, is 64% up the hill. Yeah. So I think that those are the main alarms to focus on for AVAX. What I would also say is that this thing has been constantly pushed down. We're talking like a heavy downtrend here. But what I will say is that, you know, I always pay attention to the curvature of these things. Okay. So you kind of ignore market cipher here and you kind of look at coming down, coming down, we're coming down. Now look, this low, this lower high right here is like a part. Let me do that again. Kind of see how we're coming, and then it starts to curve out for that low. Not to mention, the previous high was a higher high. All right, so if we kind of zoom into that, all right, so we got slightly higher high, and we're putting in slightly higher lows, and we're very close to it now. And we can kind of appreciate the nature that maybe this thing is trying to curve, and really be vigilant with these alarms like this one. We got low high here at $21. This high here at $22.30. Basically, if AVAX starts to curve and you didn't buy any under $22.30, you fucked up.
You messed up, man.
You messed up. So I don't know another coin that looks like about a buy zone better than AVAX. So what I will say is, guys, we are systematically going through the top 100, 10 by 10 by 10. That was number 20 for today. I thought H bar was number 20, but you know what? I will save H bar for the members only stream. Oh, we skipped Hedera and went to AVAX. That makes
How could you? How could you do that to us, AJ?
Well, we've been going for
about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, hour and 45 minutes. You know, over 150 people for a lot of the show. Really dope show. Members only is in about an hour and a half. Members come back. I'll do H bar there because H bar is a chart I've been looking at for the Telegram group anyway. So make sure you head over to members only around 2:15 right in there somewhere. I'll let you know in the Telegram group exactly when. But guys, I love the longer shows. We've been kind of going through it, just kind of catching up. I haven't been able to do as many of the extra videos, but that's why I've been really putting a lot of extra time into the live streams to make this the best I can, since it's like kind of a majority of what I'm doing with all the things I have going on right now. But guys, there will be a return to normal form. But I do thank you, this audience and my community, for your patience. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for having my back this whole time. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. The Groggers, amazing. Jay Chains, bro, thanks for your help this week.
Absolutely, my
It's been
guy.
a really good time as always, man. We got a normal live stream Monday, Tuesday next week, and then from there we're gonna be a lot of moving parts. So, any closing thoughts for the weekend?
I always strive to be 1% better every day. You hear that from me just about every sign off for every show that I do, and I live that, right? That's really important. So do that. Do what you can over the weekend. Also, it's Friday night. Eat some pizza.
Yeah, definitely time to eat some pizza. Where's the Jets? I'm down.
Ooh, Detroit style's good.
All right, everybody. Have a safe rest of your day. Appreciate you all. Have a safe weekend. If I don't see you at members only, sad. I'll see you next time. If not, become a member of the channel. Make sure you smash the like button on your way out the door. Members only. We got a lot of setups I gave on Wednesday that have developed. So we're going to really go under the surface and figure out how we can continue to make life-changing money trading crypto. With that being said, safe rest of your day. Get rich or get wrecked. Peace.